Hi, I'm Valerie and welcome back to Now Gardening. Have you ever grown carrots but they ended up looking like this? Have you tried to grow carrots but the seeds never germinated? I've been wanting to put out this video for quite some time because it might come as a surprise to you, but carrots are actually one of the easiest crops to grow. So today I'm going to take you all the way from the tiny seed to harvest, and I'm going to show you what works every single time. So let's get started. So first things first, what type of carrot should you be growing? What is the variety that's best for your garden? Well, that really depends on your soil. So if you have loose, deep soil, then varieties such as Colmar or Nantes, they might work really well for you. Whereas if your soil is kind of shallow and maybe a little rocky, then you should go with shorter varieties such as Chantenay or Parisian, which will give you better results. Why is that? Well, what type of soil do carrots like to grow in? I was planning on taking you out to my garden right now, but it's suddenly pouring down rain. We'll go out there in just a few minutes as soon as the rain lets up. But on the whole, carrots love loose, airy soil. Now, any kind of rocks, clumps, roots, compacted areas will cause the carrots to fork or cause them to have funny shapes. Probably not what you're going to want to see on your dinner plate. So you want to make sure that your soil is really kind of loose and not compacted. Once I prepare the bed and put my compost in and everything, then I will even run my fingers through the soil just to make sure that I don't find any sticks or any kind of chunks or compacted areas that might cause problems for the carrots. So a problem that I see a lot of people having is that they can't get their carrot seeds started. How do you sow carrot seeds? Well, carrot seeds are teeny tiny. I see there's two right here. So that's one and then two. So they're really little. And I've used tools that claim to put them in one by one by one by one so that you don't have to thin them later. Always have to thin them. So now I just really keep it simple. So after the bed has been prepared, so this is adding compost or fertilizer or whatever I'm gonna add to the bed, then I wet the soil and then I take my seed packet and I just spread it evenly. So just really use the broadcast method in order to get those seeds kind of evenly distributed over the area that I want to plant. After I do that, I take some soil in my hands and I just really go over the seeds and leave a light layer of soil over the seeds. Well, this is just to kind of keep the seeds from flying away because we're not trying to bury treasure here. We actually want the seeds to just be barely covered with the soil so that makes it easier for them to germinate. After that is done, then I will mist that soil. So mist is important here because you also don't want to blow the seeds away now. So I'll mist that area and then I will cover the bed. Covering is oftentimes seen as optional, but it's really kind of the biggest, probably one of the biggest tips I have for growing carrots, honestly, or getting them started. But it's also can be the problem because back in the day, whenever I used to try to grow carrots, I had always seen people talk about putting cardboard over them. But when I would put the cardboard over them, I would just can't see anything, I forget about them, I don't know if the soil's wet, and they never germinated. So what I do now is I actually use the clear row covers and I put those over the bed. Now that does three things for me. That one gives me a visual of the soil so I can actually see if the soil is getting dry. On the other hand, it also allows any kind of rain that we might get to seep in to that soil, which saves me having to water it. And three, it also allows me to see, once again, when those seeds have germinated and how they're growing and all of that. And this brings me to one of the key things about growing carrot seeds is that they don't germinate in 2 to 3 days. They take about 10 to 20 days to germinate. And during that time, the soil has to stay wet. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you know I try to keep things as simple as possible. I don't love to water whenever I don't have to. So what I do is I also try to time sowing my carrot seeds when I see a rainy week coming ahead. I think the rain is maybe lightening up, so let me grab my coat and we will go outside. It's been raining nonstop for the last few days, so we're just gonna kind of make a run for it here and see how it goes. Okay, so here you see the carrot seedlings. Once again, I use the broadcast method and just kind of spread the seeds all over. Now, normally this is about the size when I thin them out. But you see there's some areas here that are kind of bare. So here, for example, I would take these that are too close together and I would transplant them over here. The good news is with harvesting carrots is that it's not like tomatoes. You don't have to rush out there real quick because they're going to go bad. You actually can leave them. They'll stay in the ground for quite some time. This was a squash vine that's died back now with the cold. But if you see here underneath it, I'm just going to kind of All right, so let me take these inside and get them cleaned up. We'll see what we have. Well, as you can see, they might not be ideal, but it doesn't hurt to have a pre-winter harvest as well.